This is Stephen Hatch. Today I'm just going to take you through a quick tutorial on how to create light rays in Photoshop. So this is a photo that I took on the way to the office this morning. I was driving down the road, beautiful frost out this morning. So from my iPhone, out an open window, driving down the road in the car. I didn't even stop the car completely or get out, so a little lazy. I was late to an appointment, so I had to get there quickly. Anyway, here is the photo straight out of the camera, if you can call an iPhone a camera, but I thought this would be a good example of a photo that could be enhanced by introducing some light rays. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you how I created a light source, and what I did is I added just a white shape that I just did a soft blur on it, and then on top of that I duplicated that layer, increased the blur dramatically, and then duplicated that layer again. So that's what created that. Having a light source is important, but that's not the intent of this tutorial. What I want to focus on is the next step. So the next step is in the layers panel, go down to create new fill or adjustment layer. Click on that and go to gradient. Gradient will pull up the gradient fill option here. The first thing you're going to do is go to style and change that from linear to angle. So now I've changed the style to angle. Next, click in the gradient box right here. Click directly in the gradient and it will open up this edit dialog box. Now at this point, the next change we're going to do is go to gradient type, change it from solid to noise. So now we have gradient type is now noise. Next, let's go to the color model. It's currently RGB. We're going to change that to HSB, hue, saturation, and brightness. Next, let's go down to saturation, the S slider, and take the light indicator here and click and drag that all the way to the left. And what that does is it just takes all of the color out of that gradient. So now we have this grayscale gradient. But what I want to do now is I want to create the right tone. So go over here to the randomize, click on that, and what I'm really looking for is this tone range right through here. So about 50% gray and lighter is what I want, and I want that to be through the entire image. So I'm going to click on randomize several times until I get something pretty close. That's getting pretty close, but I want to get something a little closer. Liking that almost there. Let's go with that. Now one thing you can do is play with the brightness sliders. Move those around to get something a little more in the tone that you want. And also another thing you can do, if you want the rays to be a little more pronounced, you can play with the roughness and see as I go up just how bright or define those rays would be versus something like this. So I'm just going to go with something like that, about 55%. Usually most of the time I never have to change that, but that's an option for you. So let's go ahead and click OK. I now have this beautiful gradient fill in here. Let's click OK on this dialog box as well. And now I have this gradient fill number 1 in the layers, and it's looking nice. So the next thing we're going to do is go to the blend mode in the layers panel and go from normal down to overlay. So now we have this gradient light streaks, but it's in the wrong place. So now how do we fix that? Let me show you. Let's go back to the layers panel, and on the gradient fill layer, let's click on this layer thumbnail, double click on that, and it will launch or bring up the dialog window gradient fill. Now with this open, you can go over onto the screen, click and drag, and it will move that gradient to where you want it to be. And now when that gradient is overlaid over a light source, go ahead and click OK. It looks a lot more legitimate. So kind of fun. So right there we got a tutorial already going. You see the light rays, they look quite legitimate, quite fun. But some things you can do to change this up a little bit if you want is go into the layer mask right here, click on that, click on your brush, and painting with black at 50%, I can start to bring back some of the image maybe that I don't want light rays to be shown. So maybe I want to have some of this, maybe I want some of this to come back out. This over here just looks a little too bright, so maybe I can soften that up a little bit as well. And just do it to taste as you like it, and when you're done. Let me just show you a before and after. So I'm going to go down to this bottom layer. I'm going to duplicate that by pushing Command or Control J. Now I'll click that layer and drag it to the top of the stack here. So here's before as it was shot out of the camera, and here's after with the light rays. So big difference, kind of fun to add a little personality and a little style. So hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and we'll look forward to doing another one for you in the future. Have a great day.